It's Miss SassyCat'S Storytime! The Secret Remedy Book, A Story of Comfort and Love by Karin. Illustrated by Wendy Halperin. The Secret Remedy Book is what you need when you're feeling lonely, homesick, worried, or a little of each. Its 7 remedies are sure to inspire your mind and charm your heart. Lolly's family visited Auntie Zepp on every holiday. Auntie Zepp always had a bonfire or a pet rabbit or a secret in the attic to make the visits exciting. Lolly often wished that she could visit her auntie by herself. One summer, Mother and Father decided that Lolly was old enough to stay with Auntie Zepp for a whole month. At last, Lolly could hardly wait. But after her family dropped her off, Lolly found that she felt a little sad. She tried to make the sad feeling go away, but she only got sadder and sadder. And before she could stop herself, she sat down and cried. Auntie Zepp wiped away Lolly's tears and said, "We need to get the secret remedy book." First, they had to locate the key to the trunk where the book was kept. Auntie Zepp knew just where to find it. Then Auntie Zepp took Lolly to the attic to find the trunk, which was very old. It had both a watery smell like the ocean and a sun-dried smell like the desert, for the trunk had once traveled far and wide. Lolly turned the key in the lock until they heard a little clicking sound. Auntie Zepp helped Lolly open the heavy lid. The smell of mothballs rushed out of the trunk like a cold wind. There it was, the secret remedy book. The remedy book was covered with an old piece of flowery wallpaper. The pages were brown, brittle, and raggedy, and dried flowers were pressed between some of them. There were splotches here and there where something had spilled or splattered onto the paper. Very carefully, Lolly turned the pages. The remedies were written in a spidery handwriting that seemed to scuttle and scurry across each page. Lolly thought the writing looked as if it were in a hurry to help her feel better. She drew in her breath when she read the words on the first page. Warning! You must finish all the remedies in this book before the first hoot of an owl, or none of them will work. The first remedy. Drink 1 glass of apple juice. You must drink it so carefully that you can almost taste the very apple tree that made the apples that made the juice. Lolly and Auntie Zepp each drank a glass of fresh apple juice. Auntie said that she could almost taste the leaves of the apple tree. Lolly said that she could almost taste the blossoms. Closing their eyes, they felt almost as if they were in the very orchard where the tree grew. "What about the owl?" asked Lolly. "Oh, we have hours before the owl hoots," said Auntie Zepp. The second remedy. Plant a seed in good earth. You must do something sneaky to keep the seed safe. Lolly and Auntie Zepp buried a handful of pumpkin seeds in the dark, rich mounds of earth in Auntie's garden. Then they made a scarecrow, complete with a floppy hat, a flowery dress, and a necklace of cans. The dress flapped furiously in the wind. The cans clattered and clanked. Lolly took Auntie Zepp's hand. "Let's run back and see what the next remedy will be." The third remedy. Take a walk as far as you can. You must see something that you have never noticed before. Lolly and Auntie Zepp hurried down a footpath through the woods. They looked and looked for something they had never noticed before. All at once, there it was. A piece of railroad track lay partly buried. Both ends of the track disappeared into the earth as mysteriously as a rainbow. "When will an owl hoot?" Lolly asked as soon as they were back at Auntie Zepp's. "We have plenty of time," she replied. The fourth remedy. Feed a wild thing. You must make a solemn promise that you will always do everything you can to protect it from hunger and harm. In the kitchen, Auntie Zep fed Lolly, saying that Lolly was a wild thing. The big sandwich disappeared munch by munch, and the cool, sweet apple vanished crunch by crunch, with barely a crust and a core and a lettuce leaf left behind. Then Lolly took a pail of leftovers out to a burrow in which an opossum lived. "I solemnly promise," Lolly said into the dark burrow, "that I will always do everything I can to protect you from hunger and harm." The fifth remedy. Write a cheerful letter to some dear soul. You must put something unexpected in the envelope. Auntie Zep wrote to Lolly's mother. "I'll write to Father," Lolly said. Auntie Zep put a heart-shaped leaf in her letter. Lolly put a mockingbird's feather in hers. "Will an owl hoot now?" Lolly asked as she sealed her envelope. "Soon," said Auntie Zep. So Lolly hurried to turn another brown, crackling page of the secret remedy book. The sixth remedy. Read in peace and quiet from a favorite book. You must find one special part of the book that is so wonderful that you feel like reading it again and again. Lolly leaped into the comfy four-poster bed. She opened a poetry book that had a little ribbon in it for marking your place. Pretty soon, she had learned a poem by heart. The poem was short, but the words were bigger than the whole night. Auntie Zep said that poetry was like that sometimes. Lolly was getting very sleepy. "Did you hear an owl hoot?" she whispered. "Not yet," said Auntie Zep. "We still have time for the very last remedy." The seventh remedy. Dream of doing great things. You must think of one small, great thing you can do tomorrow. Lolly said that tomorrow she would write her very own poem. Then she began to slip into a comfortable dreaminess. She dreamed about saving all the wild things and planting forests and writing poetry. She dreamed about sleeping in a tent. There were so many things to do. Auntie Zep had a deep, dreamy look on her face, too. She dreamed about climbing mountains and taking Lolly to see all the beauty of the world someday. Suddenly, they heard the soft, trembling hoot of an owl in the darkness outside the window. "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh." "Did the secret remedy book work for you?" Auntie Zep whispered as she closed the book, tucked the covers around Lolly, and kissed her forehead. Lolly whispered a soft yes. Lolly was all sleepy and cozy and full of great thoughts. She was busy dreaming of tomorrow. The secret remedies. Number 1. Drink 1 glass of apple juice. You must drink it so carefully that you can almost taste the very apple tree that made the apples that made the juice. Number 2, plant a seed in good earth. You must do something sneaky to keep the seed safe. Number 3, take a walk as far as you can. You must see something that you have never noticed before. Number 4, feed a wild thing. You must make a solemn promise that you will always do everything you can to protect it from hunger and harm. Number 5, write a cheerful letter to some dear soul. You must put something unexpected in the envelope. Number 6, read in peace and quiet from a favorite book. You must find one special part of the book that is so wonderful that you feel like reading it again and again. Number 7, dream of doing great things. You must think of one small, great thing you can do tomorrow. This This was The Secret Remedy Book, a story of comfort and love. Spread the love by hitting that subscribe button and giving the video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching Miss Sassycat's Storytime. You can follow us on Instagram at Miss Sassycat. And always, please click the description in the link below and order a copy of this book to support the author. Let's read another book.